Have you ever created an awesome piece of content and then realized later, yeah, that was epic, but it didn't do anything to grow my business, my visibility, my email list? We have all been there, haven't we? We get so excited about what we want to say and being visible to our ideal clients that we forget to give them a call to action, telling them what we want them to do next, how they can connect with us, how they can take the next step with us and stay connected to us long term. And more importantly, how they can land on our email list. You know the importance of your email list as a business owner. It's the only thing we really have control over. We don't own social media platforms. We can't control the algorithm as much as we'd like to. And even as podcast hosts, we don't own the platforms we use to publish our shows. Having a podcast is an awesome way to have visibility for your business on a global scale. But if you aren't leveraging your podcast to grow your email list and nurturing your email subscribers into buyers, you might as well not spend the time to publish your show at all, because it's not going to grow your business. It would be a great hobby, but it's not going to make you the income that you want. I want you to use your podcast to explode your email list so that your podcast becomes your biggest source of list growth and income. Every time you publish a new episode, I want your list growth to explode. So how do you do that? Not just by being prepared, but by being strategically prepared with the best call to action for your business based on your promotional year at the time the episode will air. A CTA, a call to action, is a directive to our ideal clients on what to do next, how to take the next step with us, how to stay caught up in our world to go deeper with our content as subscribers on our email list. Subscribers that convert into collaboration partners, referral sources, and buyers. So I want you to think through this. I've just shared this awesome, valuable content with my audience, right? As a podcast host, you're thinking, man, this content I wrote, this episode is it. It is going to be epic. I want you to think through, where could you send them next where they're going to land on your email list? Let me give you some great examples to get your creative juices flowing for your next podcast recording. Do you want them to grab a free download that you have that pertains to the topic you just talked about? What about joining a wait list, a workshop, a masterclass, especially if you're in a promotional launch? Subscribe to your blog. As long as you have calls to action on every blog post leading to list growth. How about join my free Facebook group? And again, you want those membership questions upon entry to your Facebook group to be dialed in for email list growth. What about book your free info call so they can figure out if you guys are a good fit to work together? You are likely using CTAs already, but my question is, are you using them consistently? And I ask this basic question because CTAs are simple and easy to use, but they are also really simple and easy to forget. We have so many things to remember as content creators and business owners. We get so caught up in crafting our content, the perfect words or the graphic on our post or the thumbnail for our podcast, the perfect copy for our website or blog, the perfect interview questions for our podcast episodes, practicing our live videos, prepping for our podcast shows, and we completely forget about making sure we are using these opportunities for email list growth with a clear call to action. The small detail of a call to action can easily get overlooked, and yet this small detail can have the biggest impact on our email list growth, on our audience growth, and ultimately our income. Isn't it wild that such a small thing can have such a massive impact on our bottom line revenue? Now, I want to give you a tip. This is a tip I teach my clients and students on how to never forget to use a call to action. Wherever I'm creating my content, I have a reminder that says, what is the CTA? If I'm writing a live training script, I post this and highlight it at the top of the document that I'm writing on so I don't forget it. Creating social media posts, do the same thing. I think through where I could lead my ideal client next once they see my post. Simple and easy to use, simple and easy to forget. So let's set ourselves up for success with some sort of reminder, even if it's a sticky note. What is your best way to remind yourself Decide that today and then implement it. That sticky note, you could put it right next to your laptop. In order to grow our income, we have to attract our ideal clients to us and get them to stay with us long enough to deepen that know, like, and trust factor. We want them swimming in the pool of our content and staying connected to us for a long time so that they will convert into buyers. We want the opportunity to give them value, help them solve their problems, and through that, we are able to showcase our expertise. The way we do this is by being prepared at every opportunity to tell our ideal client audience what to do next, where to go next, what their next step with us should be. And you may be wondering, well, okay, how often do you use a CTA? In every piece of content, every nook and cranny of your business, every single time, but especially when you are a podcast host and you are preparing a new episode. Your audience loves you. They want to be with you. They see you as an authority. And when you deliver awesome value through your show, which you know you do, they're going to trust you. And being prepared with a strong CTA is critical. Not preparing for the opportunity to give a CTA at the end of every podcast means lost income because you've lost an awesome opportunity for list growth from an audience that's already warmed up to you and loving your content. I mean, they're already excited to connect with you, right? When you're preparing the content for your show, I want you to think through, what is the best CTA for this episode at this time in your business? Is there a free download you could easily put together? Not anything fancy, doesn't have to be fancy, but a free download that you could easily put together that corresponds to the subject matter of that particular episode and allows the listener to not only become a part of your email list when they opt in, but also it allows the listeners to take a deeper dive into the content and learn even more from you with your free download. And this adds even more value to your show. It's a win-win. Are you wondering what to say to easily transition into this without feeling salesy or weird? Let me give you an example. Here's an example of what I use each week on my live shows. Okay, friends, here's what I want you to do next. I know you love the content today. I have a free download I curated just for you so you can dive deeper into what I shared with you today. You are not going to want to miss this. Go to, and that's where you give them the URL, and make the URL really simple. Then be sure that you have the URL to that landing page for them to opt in your show notes as well. We have to make it really easy for our ideal clients to follow the instructions we have given them. Because if they can't remember the instructions, they're not going to follow through. So let's recap really quick. When you're mapping out your podcast topics and plans for recording, I want you to think through when the episode's going to air, where will you be at that time in your promotional year, and make note of the best CTA, a strong CTA you could give them that would lead your ideal client to your list. Create a system that reminds you to include your call to action in your preparations. Remember that sticky note we talked about? Or put a reminder at the top of a Google Doc or a task on your Google Calendar. Use a clear CTA not only with every podcast episode, but every piece of content, every nook and cranny of your content every single time. And don't worry about coming across as salesy or pushy when you state your call to action. Remember, your audience loves you or they wouldn't be listening to your show, right? They will want to take that next step with you. So don't be shy about telling them exactly what you want them to do. CTAs are simple and easy to use, but they are also just as simple and easy to forget. Let's be sure we make the most out of every marketing opportunity by using strong CTAs that lead to email list growth. The next time you're creating your content for your podcast, use the strategy I have given you here, and you'll be all set to not only grow your email list, but your income too.